While forensics have revealed that chemical poisoning is the reason behind the deaths of 21 teenagers at an East London tavern, it's still not yet known what type of chemical this was. Many questions remain unanswered surrounding the incident itself. eNCA senior reporter Aviwe Mtila is joining us now with the latest on the story. Good afternoon, Aviwe. What is the latest you can tell us of that march that was taking place earlier an hour ago as they were marching, the youth of East London marching to the tavern itself? What's happening?
Good afternoon, Bradan, and we are some 50 or so meters away from eNCA Tavern, where hundreds of youth, not only from Scenery Park but other areas around Scenery Park, have gathered. The youth that you see in front of us now are the 21 that are holding candles in memory of the 21 teenagers who passed away at eNCA Tavern, happening in the early hours of Sunday morning. There are hundreds more just behind me here as they've officially started their program, Bradan, saying that they're here to commemorate and remember these teenagers, and they lay out the plans. Of course, we do understand the funerals, mass funeral that is going to happen next Wednesday. In fact, in the course of the day, early morning, in fact, we got confirmation as to the mysterious death and what led to these mysterious deaths. We understand that it was chemical poisoning that led to the killing of these 21 teenagers, Bradan. In fact, the bodies, remember that they left eNCA Tavern with the majority of them heading to the Woodbrick mortuary in the early hours of Sunday, where after being examined there, the pathologist suggests that the majority of those deceased, the abnormalities that were found there are all consistent. It means that all of these teenagers suffered the same fate of this poisoning. It's just questionable now, of course, what kind of poisoning it is, as those toxicology lab currently in Cape Town examining further the results themselves to determine what exact toxin was found there. Of course, those results are then expected in the next 2 weeks, we were told by our expert sources. But at this current moment, it's hundreds of youth that have gathered just outside of eNCA Tavern, and of course the police here also in their droves as those investigations continue. I'm even seeing forensics that are still combing through the scene, taking some of the remaining material that was found on the ground, including bottles, as they try to put them in the vans. That would suggest that the investigations are continuing, as my colleague Ngaban Tsanganiso is trying to show you what's happening at the scene itself. It looks like the Habley pipes that are being taken from eNCA Tavern, put in there for forensic investigations. That would give further details to exactly what might have transpired on the day. But our expert sources have already revealed to us that in fact it was a chemical poisoning that took the lives of these 21 children. In fact, going on, Bradan, to even speak of how the stampede has been ruled out in its entirety, even suggesting that there are superficial injuries and scratches to the deceased upon examining them, but those would have happened as they were being carried by the bouncers, not deep injuries or massive injuries that would suggest that there's been any of these stampede that took place here. Ruling out stampedes or natural causes, they're now saying that it's chemical poisoning, as the memorial service, a tribute basically held by hundreds of the youth here, is continuing this very moment.
Yeah, I see that area near eNCA Tavern has been cordoned off by the police, as we are seeing that vehicle there, and you were showing us them removing what looked like bubblies and stuff like that. So that area is still being treated as a crime scene, I suppose, Aviwe Mtila. Hence, they've not allowed even the young people who are there to remember the 21 teenagers to get closer, much closer to the tavern.
still an active crime scene, Bradan. Even last night, the forensic experts were here, and there were large numbers of these forensic experts still combing through the scene. There's even a statement that was issued out by the Eastern Cape provincial government suggesting that those investigations are still continuous. But you'd understand the information that we've received is from the pathology that has been done by the services themselves that led to them concluding that it's chemical poisoning that has taken the lives of these 21 teenagers, as all the abnormalities that they found are all consistent in each and every one of them. So they suggest, Bradan, that either one of two things could have happened. It's either these teenagers were sprayed with something that they inhaled at close range, or it's either something that they've been consuming. You'd understand that there are also other media information circulating that there is a generator that was supposed to be outside but is inside eNCA tavern, and it was currently working when this happened, and there are suggestions that those fumes could have caused the casualties. Also, maybe a gas leakage could have caused those casualties, but the experts that we spoke to, Bradan, have dispelled that, suggesting that if there were at least 300 patrons at eNCA tavern, then a lot more fatalities could have happened. If it came from the generator that some of these media information is suggesting, or the gas leakage that is touted to have happened, a lot more fatalities could have happened. So they suggest that this poisoning happened at close range. It's something that they either inhaled, injected, or consumed via their mouths. So those investigations are still ongoing, as we do understand. Then those results were taken by the South African Police Service around noon on Monday, taken to Cape Town to the toxicology lab over there, where they now trying to pinpoint exactly what toxin was found in the 21 teenagers that died at eNCA tavern in the early hours of Sunday morning.
And when are those results due from that toxicology lab in Cape Town?
Experts are telling us, Bradan, that could take at least 2 weeks for that to be concluded and the official then results be given out. I was speaking to the Deputy Mayor of Buffalo City Municipality, Princess Faku, just asking why the families till this stage there's some sort of chaos, Bradan. People are running now. It seems like some sort of chaos, as the youth have just broken out running. We're not sure what's happening. I'm going to try and get closer to see what is happening or get more information. In fact, I see one Yondela Sokomani, who is the regional leader of the ANC Youth League here. I'm going to bring him in a bit closer just to find out what this scuffle is about. Yondela, I'm not sure if you are privy to what's currently happening now. Let me take you to the side just to understand. Do you know what this chaos is about?
No, currently there's some of them are collapsing due to the high level of emotions. So that's what happened. So there was just a shock. So it's nothing bad, just that one of the kids here just collapsed. So we are attending to it now because we do have some primary healthcare officials around that were part of the program.
You don't know what caused them to collapse, or are we?
It's a high level of emotions. Remember, this is a traumatic scene for them. That their peers, their classmates, and their friends passed away in this particular facility. So all of those emotions have just been brought up by this, by having gathered here today. So it's a mixture of things, but in the main, it's just the high levels of emotions. So we are trying to deal with that. Otherwise, nothing bad is happening at this particular instance.
All right, Yondela Sokomani is from the WB Khubusani region, the ANC Youth League chairman in this region. Of course, we heard the cause of that commotion, as some of these youngsters are now collapsing because of the high levels of emotions. I'm not sure if you can get any bit closer, as the police have cordoned it off. My colleague Naban Tlangani is trying to just mount the camera off, and we'll try to go on the other side to exactly get a better idea of what is happening. as the police let us through. Yeah, you do understand it's an active crime scene, so everyone has been asked to go on the other side of the barricade. As you do understand, those investigations still continuing with a lot of South African police service members on the ground. Yeah, the youth leaders are trying to contain the chaos and continue with them remembering their peers here. And of course, we saw even earlier on how these youngsters are just crying and trying to remember their peers. I'm going to grab one of them just to find out, so how are you doing? Who are you going to remember?
Okay, our friends, like from all over, from Punzani.
Okay, very emotional here, saying she'll remember a friend from Punzani as the youth have come out in their hundreds just outside eNCA tavern, where 21 of their peers took their last breaths in the early hours of Sunday morning.
Okay, we're going to have to leave it there for now. Aviwe Mtila, fortunately that commotion was not anything more serious, according to what we've heard. One or two of the young people who are there at this hour apparently fainting, and but Aviwe Mtila is on the ground, and if there's any developments, we'll go back to him. Now let's tell you about this story. It's another tragedy that